Morning, everybody. Bwana Kiproni Kitoni, the Chair of the Media Owners Association, Bwana Douglas Gadenji, Mr. Anthony Karaoke, our capital markets intermediaries and stakeholders, our senior accounting professionals, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's really a pleasure to be with you here today, and it's really the objective of this when we're discussing it with the ACCA was really to see how we work together to help the media close that the divide that exists between the financial markets and complex financial information and the investing public. And standing in that void is actually the media. And how do we empower you, how do we facilitate you to really play that very central role as the media is as often being the first and only source of information to a lot of investors. When we talk of the capital markets, there tends to be a lot of discussion of statistics. Numbers are bounced around. People talk of financial statements, P&Ls, and balance sheets. But ultimately, when you talk to an investor, they want to know how is the security performing, how are my profits coming in, and what is the real return on my investment. And we really need to look at how we're going to really simplify a lot of these messages to make sure that the widest spectrum of investors are able to really understand what's being put before them. But I think just as much as the media playing such a key role in delivering that message on a national level, I think we cannot lose sight of the role of the media with international perspectives. And when we talk international, it's often very the institutional, very complex investors who are looking for quick, fast, and reliable information. And that really puts in perspective, especially in these times of the elections, a lot of the questions around how is Kenya being perceived and how, as a community, because we're all a community, from the accountants to the regulators to the media to the investors, it's a community. How are we putting out the best visuals, the best message about our country to make sure that fund flows will keep moving into the country? I think in that context, we wanted to just give you a brief overview of the current state of the markets in Kenya, and just hopefully to put in context for all of us what it is we're looking at when we talk of the capital markets, what it is we are presenting to the world as the investment opportunity that is Kenya. Now, when you talk of the markets, markets function within an economy. And when you talk of the economic performance in the country, we saw fourth quarter performance for 2012 going up to 4.7%, as against 3.4 and 3.3 in the previous quarters. So certainly, we are moving in a very positive and strong direction. And that improved growth is really attributed to the improved macroeconomic stability and especially agricultural sector performance. Now, one of the challenges we saw in the markets was quite significant macroeconomic instability in the year 2011. And we saw the markets coming back very strongly, the economy coming back very strongly, pushing down inflation from high double-digit highs in the course of 2011, early 2012, coming all the way down to 3.2% in December 2012. So we certainly have the right kind of an environment for robust and burgeoning capital markets. Although we saw inflation rates going up marginally in January of this year to 3.7%, I think on the whole, when we look at non-food, non-fuel inflation, we're still seeing downward pressure, and it's come down to 4.5% as against 4.8% in December of the previous year. Now, as a market, the most visible aspect of our markets in this country is the Nairobi Securities Exchange. And very glad to have both CACIB as well as representation from the exchange here present with us. And really, I think the Nairobi Securities Exchange has done us proud in the last year. The sheer performance, the growth that's been seen in that segment and that sector has really put out the right message about what's possible in Kenya and what's the growth potential. In last year alone, we raised about 27.2 billion through rights issues. We had 3 new listings, as well as saw very strong shareholder returns based on very strong profit performance by the listed companies. We're recovering lost ground faster than most markets, but we're still recovering lost ground, and we look forward to working together. And I think it's a national initiative that that is necessary in order to move us forward and to continue to grow the value in our market. The presentation will be circulated, so you don't need to squint too much to see the statistics, but we love to give statistics, especially when they're positive. I think once again, when you look at the trading trends at the beginning of this year, especially in the context of an impending election towards the tail end of the first quarter, it's very positive to see that December to January we're still seeing growth. On all the indices are up. The price-earning ratio is up, market capitalization is up, as well as the number of shares in trade are also up. So these are all very positive indicators of the activity in the market. Now, the Nairobi Securities Exchange is the 4th largest market on the continent, following only South Africa, Egypt, and Nigeria. And hopefully with the advent of oil, mining, and gas in the country, we'll be more than able to compete with those markets as we move forward. The settlement cycle for trading is T+3, which is very much in line with international best practice standards and is actually faster. It's a shorter settlement cycle than South Africa has achieved. The exchange also has the 2nd largest bond market in terms of bond turnover as a percentage of GDP as compared to South Africa. I think from all indications are gross majority of our listed companies will be announcing very positive end-of-year returns, and we look forward to that also stimulating further investment in the markets. All in all, I think there was a very positive performance record in 2012, and we are all but certain that will continue into 2013. Thank you very much.
Mr. Kiprono Kitoni, our chief guest, Mr. Paul Mudhaura, acting chief executive of the Capital Markets Authority, Mr. Dungu Gadenji, FCCA, Mr. Lukombara, ACCA senior members present, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Delighted to be here at this very important event. As Luke has said, it's the first of various initiatives, and we hope to start it with a big bang, so to speak. My role really is just to say, inform you a little bit about ACCA's perspective on this partnership with the CMA and this particular event specifically. Really, after signing the MOU just over 2 months ago, I must say that we are really pleased to be partners with the Capital Markets Authority to provide training that has been identified as very, very important for the media. And we hope that what will be discussed here today will address some of the needs that the media have actually expressed. We also hope to demonstrate to journalists or media present that we are ready and willing to work as a resource, as a point of reference for whenever they have queries or need comments on issues around financial or capital markets, both locally and abroad. In carrying out this initiative, and sometimes I do get asked why ACCA is involved with the Capital Markets Authority, we are ideally serving our membership. Our members fully qualified professional accountants who work in various sectors, various industries, various companies across the whole country. They are very keen consumers of business news, and they need good information for their work, for their decision making. So where we can support media to provide that good, rich information, then we'll be helping our members improve their decision making by having information that they can get on business. And that's really what we are looking for with the business journalists here. ACCA also does a lot of work in public interest. We all know that the public in Kenya have become major investors in the financial markets, and hungry for reporting, hungry for insightful, analytical business news, which needs to be communicated in ways that they can understand. Sometimes, when you see the financial reports, there are terms there that are used that, the guy who's shares somewhere really doesn't understand what it's all about. And it's the responsibility of the media to be able to disseminate that kind of information in a manner that they can actually understand. So by this initiative, ACCA is responding to that hunger, to that need, and partnering with the CMA, we look forward to actually making it a reality. The accountants we represent have a responsibility to interpret information for clients and their employers. The responsibility of the media is to interpret information for the readers, for the viewers, and listeners. And this is where we believe, as a professional accountant body, we have a responsibility to work with the media. In the Capital Markets Authority, we have a partner who's an extremely important stakeholder in business and finance in Kenya. I'm sure the media will greatly benefit from their participation, and I take this opportunity to thank the Acting Chief Executive, Mr. Mudaura, for the partnership that we now have on this. As Luke said, this is the first initiative in this partnership. We'll see a lot more coming through over the next 2 years. I believe we have some very important information to be able to disseminate to the media and to the public, and basically to our members as well. For those here today, I urge you to pay attention, listen keenly, and to ask as many questions as you have of the speakers in the panel session that we'll have later.